And okay, very good. Welcome everyone to this third part of the Career by Design series. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's session is about navigating career transitions and planning for change and new opportunities. It is a very big subject, a big topic. We are going to cover a lot of things today. Some of them by definition just on the surface, but I will be coming back to this subject often anyway. Again, for those of you who don't know me, very quickly, why am I talking about this at all and why am I having those sessions? I'm a career and business transformation coach. I have spent 25 plus years in financial services in the corporate world, at top financial institutions, at various levels of the corporate ladder. My expertise is in leadership, finance, strategy change, and mergers and acquisitions. I have pivoted to coaching. I have been doing coaching and mentoring for most of my life anyway. A couple of years ago, I did a certification in career coaching because my passion is to help women high achievers to take the next step in their career. And although I work with everyone, I work with men too. My main message is for women, because it is still a little bit harder for women to climb the corporate ladder. Okay, so just very quickly what Career by Design is and why Career by Design. It is a series of webinars that I'm hosting on LinkedIn. I'm really passionate about designing your career, hence the Career by Design, as opposed to Career by Default, and that's the title of the series. I'm hosting it weekly on LinkedIn, diving deep into key career topics. It's designed for women high achievers in the corporate world, but as I said, everything I cover is applicable equally to men. It's to help you empower your career journey and take control of it, because if you don't, someone else will, and to achieve long-term success and fulfillment. If you are interested in those topics, I highly recommend the series and joining our community. Okay, the very last sentence, why Career by Design? And what is it exactly? It's a proactive approach where you take charge of your professional journey and design a fulfilling career that aligns with your values, passion, skills, and your long-term goal. And I'm very passionate about a long-term goal in both personal and professional life. Now, today we are going to talk about navigating career transitions, planning for change, and new opportunities. Let's jump in. Please do ask questions in the meantime, if there is anything that you want to clarify. Now, how do we define career transition and what is career transition? As Shipra said at the beginning, it's a very interesting topic, and it's a very broad topic. It is generally a shift in professional path or direction. It can involve changing industries, job functions, or companies, and many more. We'll talk about different career transitions later on. It may be voluntary when you are seeking new challenges, or involuntary when there are layoffs, for example. And of course, often involves acquiring new skills and knowledge. Now, a little bit about women, specifically why women high achievers transition. Of course, you will see it again applies to men as well. Why do we transition at all? Because we are seeking new challenges and growth opportunities when we believe or we think the role is stagnant and we don't grow anymore. Sometimes we want to achieve a better work-life balance, or pursue advancement opportunities which are not available in the current role. We may have a desire for a more meaningful career, or we may have experienced burnout or be on the verge of a burnout in the current role, and we are dissatisfied with the workplace culture. And of course, like if you dig deeper in the subject, in the theme, there will be much more, but I think these are the key reasons why people transition. So how about you? You're at the session, which means you are interested in career transition, and at some point in life you might have thought about transitioning. Is it possible? Is it easy to do? Do people success in transitions? I just wanted to show you 3 stories of people who I either have worked with or know, who have transitioned smoothly in what seemed to be a difficult shift. It's just to show you that it's all possible. Maria, she was a marketing expert and she wanted to pivot to technical CEO role. She leveraged her leadership skills and self-assessment to identify a passion. And through networking and online courses, she transitioned into a consulting role and then co-founded a successful technical company. The reason why I'm showing this example is because we will be talking about it later on. Here in Maria's example, she leveraged her transferable skills. It was less about the content and more about her leadership skills and her entrepreneurial skills, which is very, very important. So she could move across industries. Now, another story of Dora. She was an investment banker and she wanted to work in something more meaningful, as she called it. A social impact, this is what she was interested in. Again, she used her financial expertise to launch an environmental consulting firm, and she used her strategic planning skills and action-oriented approach to make a difference for her business and the planet. That's exactly what she wanted. She thought wherever she was at that point in her life was not that meaningful for the community or for the world as she would have wanted, and hence the move. And here you see she used her hard skills to pivot. The third one is someone, I really like this one, is my favorite because she was a stay-at-home mom and she pivoted. She decided to move into coding after a career break. So she re-entered the workforce, utilizing online resources and bootcamps, developed coding skills, and landing a position as a software engineer. Those things happen. People do transition in many, many ways. Yeah, dedication, it's important. It's important to be motivated and have a reason to transition. I promise we'll talk about types of career transitions. And again, I will focus on those 4, and we'll talk about them a little bit more later. Promotion within your own company is a transition, because as famously said, what brought you here will not bring you there. You need to have a different skill set, apply a different skill set to your new role after promotion. It is a very important transition. Returning to work after leave of absence, it's a big transition. Of course, moving to a new job or company is a career transition. And perhaps the most bold one is starting your own business. Of course, a career transition. Now, I'm going to talk about planning for the change into at 2 levels, a framework, strategic planning, and action plan, more tactical. So how we plan for it and what we do next. I'm a fan, and those of you who have been there before would know that I'm a fan of self-assessment. Knowing yourself, your values, your goals is important before you transition. You need to know why are you transitioning. Why first, and then where to. Once you know your why and what your values are, what your goals are, what you want to achieve, then of course you need to explore, research for what's possible, what's on the market, what you are interested in, and network for opportunities. And then action planning, develop a roadmap for success. So that's the key steps, I would say: self-assessment, exploration, action planning, and then implementation. Does anybody have any question at this point? No? Okay, let's go on. Self-assessment. We spoke about it at previous sessions a little bit. This is absolutely crucial. There's no point in transitioning into something that you are not necessarily sure about. You need to know yourself and what you want to transition to. Transition is a big move, and it pays off to move into what you are really interested in or good at, or hopefully both. So you need to identify your personal values, recognize your strengths and interests. That's the first thing. Values are important, especially if you are moving to a different industry and different company. You need to double check if this is aligned with your values, no matter how much you like the role, for example. Strengths and interests. If you are interested in entrepreneurial path, absolutely. But if you think this is not for you, then there is perhaps not. I don't want to say no point in trying, because there is always a value in trying. But you need to know what you want and what you are good at. And again, I'm not a fan of focusing on weaknesses or areas for development unless there is something that you are really, really interested in and you desperately want to learn. And then, of course, but do leverage your strengths. Once you know your values, your strengths, your passions, then you need to define your career goals. What do you want to achieve in your career? What kind of work environment do you thrive in? What legacy? Remember, we spoke about legacy. Legacy is a big word, but what do you want to leave behind in years to come? So that's self-assessment. Then exploration, research and networking. Do notice how this goes together. Research and networking, because networking is a very, very important part of transitioning. So once you know what you want, do research potential career paths. Informational interviews. This is one of my favorite techniques, both in job seeking and also in career transitions. You can do two things. You can either passively react to opportunities on job boards, and this is very, very, I would say, difficult path, often unsuccessful. Or you can actively search for companies or places you would like to work with, and then identify people who work in those places and conduct informal interviews. It's very, very important to develop your network that way, but also to understand more about the company and the roles. I've done it myself, and I know it's very, very doable. I also know that people oftentimes also, or mainly people who you don't know at all, if you approach them not for a job, but on LinkedIn, for example, if you connect with them, approach them and say you want to learn more about their company and their role. I've done it before, and trust me, most people would be flattered that you want to learn about what they are doing. And I never got a no. I did get no responses sometimes, but never got a no. So do remember about informational interviews, because it pays off long run. You learn, but also you make connections. Also ask who else I can talk to. This is very likely that this person will connect you with someone else. It will pay off later. Utilize online platform. We spoke about LinkedIn. That's, of course, a given. So that's exploration. Research and networking, it goes together. Do a research and do network actively. Now, that's a framework. What are the actions? I think this one is a given. Once you know what your values are, what your passions and interests are, and you have done your research and you are doing your networking, you need to have an action plan. Your goals, and I think this one we all know about: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Ideally, you want to transition at the right time. You don't want to transition tomorrow, or you don't want to say, I want to build my own business, so I will leave the corporate world today and I will start building my business tomorrow. Chances are it will be unsuccessful. So you do need to plan for it. And as trivial as it sounds, is very, very important. Ideally, work backwards. Say if you want to pivot in a year's time, see what you can do from 12 months onwards to now when you go back, because it needs to be realistic. Now, remember when we were talking about different type of transitions? I say perhaps the most common one would be being promoted or changing roles within. So if you're in your company and you are being promoted to a different role, if you are promoted, that's really, really good. So oftentimes we are not being promoted. We want to be promoted, but we are not being promoted. So you need to identify what kind of promotion do you want. Sometimes it is a horizontal promotion. Sometimes promotion is vertical, vertical, and sometimes horizontal can be horizontal as well. Promotion because you can get a bigger platform, a bigger project, or get to know other areas. So you don't go up, but you go sideways. It can be seen as promotion as well, or it can be a platform to your future promotion. Assess your strengths, areas for development. As I said, I'm not a fan of areas of development, but if you want to be promoted in a specific area and you do know you need to work on a specific thing, because, for example, you got a feedback to this effect, do. Communicate your career goals to your line manager. Do communicate, because sitting there and waiting for others to notice you doesn't work, ever. And ideally, talk to your line manager and talk to them about your development plan and your path to promotion. It actually pays off two ways. One, you will know what they think, whether they think it's doable, because you need them. This is your path to or gateway to promotion. You will see if this person is on your side. And if they are, they will be supporting your development and your promotion plan. And if they are not, then maybe it's time to reconsider. And seek mentorship from senior colleagues. Seek feedback. It's always very, very useful. So that's your plan if you want to be promoted within. Of course, demonstrating your value is important to future sponsors, to people who can back your promotion up. Now, moving to a new job or a new company is a different story. We spoke about researching target companies and positions via LinkedIn and any other way. Do know where you want to work, who you want to work with, what's your target industry, company size. Ideally, as much as you can, do define it, because it's important. It has to be aligned with your values. Do you want to work for this particular company? Are you aligned with their values, with their ways of working? Of course, update your resume and online profiles. It's very, very important to update your LinkedIn profile. The section about is critical. A lot of people only look at the about section. It has to be forward-looking. If you want to pivot, if you want to transition, if you want to change, your profile, your about section has to be already written as if you were there. Your skills, transferable skills, and the skills that you are bringing to the new role have to be highlighted. It needs to be read as if you are ready for the role. Prepare for interviews by practicing skills and crafting compelling answers. This is, again, sounds obvious, but it's important. Do not underestimate mock interviews with a colleague, a coach, a mentor. And that way you will be prepared. It's important to research your companies, remember, and positions. Then do not underestimate LinkedIn and prepare for interviews beforehand. Do go for interviews if you are invited, even if there is an interview with a company you are not necessarily that much interested in, because they reached out to you. Do go, because it's practice, practice, practice. And when it really matters for you, you will be ready. Now, returning to work after leave of absence is another transition. Remember, we spoke about it. This is a different story. You need to reconnect with your network, update your skills if there is anything that you believe you are not that skillful at anymore. I recommend to review company policies and benefits before you rejoin. Do schedule a meeting with your manager and talk about your expectations and their expectations. And do negotiate as much as you can before you return, not after, because after it's already too late. Now, starting your own business, it's deliberately left as the last one because it's the most perhaps difficult pivot. You need to know what is your business idea and refine it and spend a lot of time on it. Develop a business plan, know what will be your funding, know what would be your legal and financial structure, and that's about it. I'm saying it's the most difficult one. I myself pivoted to coaching my own business. It took me a couple of years to transition from my corporate world to my coaching business, and I did do both for a year or two. To gradually transition and not to transition, from the moment I leave my company, because then it would be scary and risky. It takes more effort than I thought, but it's very, very rewarding. It's again going for my passions and my values. Support system is important. Support network will be needed for whatever transition you are planning. If you can utilize any career services, you can. Coaching, career advisors, mentorship from experienced professionals in your field, within your existing company, outside, wherever you can. Have it as diverse as possible. Join career-focused groups, online communities for support and guidance. It's important because someone has already been where you are going. So there is no point in reinventing the wheel. Support network is important now. It will be important for you in the future. Now, strategies for success. Confidence. So we were talking about hard skills, and we were talking about what it takes to transition skills, values, networking wise, and so on. But one of the most difficult things is to be fully confident about transitioning. There is all kinds of things that are kicking in, imposter syndrome or adversity to risk, which can be understandable, of course. So you need to be absolutely confident that you can transition and you will transition successfully. Timing it right is important as well, because if you, like me, if you do it over time and do a couple of things simultaneously, then it builds up confidence, because then you reduce risk. There will be challenges, loads of them. Reframe challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. Easier said than done, but you will have to do it. In every challenge, see an opportunity. Do work on your transferable skills and accomplishments. I can't stress this one enough. It's very, very important. In every pivot is possible. Absolutely every pivot is possible because of transferable skills, communication skills, leadership skills, managing, I don't know, budgets, risks, issues. These are all transferable skills. Managing your stakeholders. In every role, it will be critically important. Content-wise, you can learn everything, but transferable skills are crucial. Utilize positive self-talk and affirmations to boost your confidence. I like this one. Just you can do it. You can do it and you will do it. So why not? Now, strategies for success, another one, networking. And look how many times I have spoken about networking through all this presentation. Networking is important also because people will help you find opportunities. There is a hidden job market, and some say it's 80% of the roles, especially at senior positions, that are not showing up anywhere. Definitely not on job boards. This is a hidden job market where there are people who know about those roles, and those roles are being offered to people who their company or the line manager can trust, who they know and can trust, and they reach out directly. This is why networking is so important. LinkedIn, again, is the go-to platform because of the very premise of LinkedIn. It's for professionals. So that's a given, and that's why your professional profile on LinkedIn is so important. I do advise people to try and be visible on LinkedIn as much as you can. It's scary, not everybody likes it, but apparently only, I think 4 or 6% of people are users of LinkedIn are sharing fresh content. Everything else is being reshared or liked or commented on. Do be visible on LinkedIn, especially if you want to transition, because you want to build your new identity. You want people will still remember your older or previous self. In your previous role, you need to build this new identity, build credibility, show your credibility. So if you want to pivot from, I don't know, I wanted to pivot from the corporate world to coaching. I'm posting about coaching. I'm building my identity as an executive coach, who I am now. And this is how people will learn that you are the new you now. That way you will be seen by others in the same industry. They will be reaching out to you. They will be asking questions. They will be inviting you to industry events, conferences, and this is how you enter this world. You do build genuine connections by offering value and support, and this is, again, what we spoke about a couple of days ago, last week, how networking is a two-way street. Do reach out to people when you need them, but also do offer help when you have something of value. It may be like recruiters, for example. You may know of someone who may be a good fit for their role, or you may know something that someone else is looking for. Do offer value and do work both ways. Maintaining momentum throughout your journey is important, because you will be discouraged every now and then. You may be doubting if this is the right path. It will be 2 steps forward and 1 step back, but you have to persevere. Otherwise, it will not pan out. You have to keep going and not give up. Celebrate small wins and milestones to stay motivated. Just, acknowledge what you are doing, what you have done, what you have managed to do, and how far have you gone. Because it's very, very important. It will help in the moments of doubt, when you see how much you have achieved. Set achievable deadlines, track progress to stay focused. Achievable deadlines are important. I remember from my own journey when I was at the beginning setting up very, very ambitious goals, big ones in short periods of time. And that was unattainable. It was unachievable. It was impossible. But I only learned through, making those mistakes. And it was hard, because it's easy then to doubt and say, no, you will never do it because you haven't done this or that. But if it's too much, you will never be able to do it. So take your time. Remember, we spoke about building a plan and a roadmap and knowing where you're going and when. So do give yourself time. Ask for help when needed. Remember, mentors, sponsors, peers. In one of the previous sessions, we spoke about accountability partner. Find someone who is in a similar position, or someone who you trust and who understands where you're going. Talk to this person often. Let them know your goals. Treat them as a sparring partner. And it will be serving you two ways. One is accountability partner. So you promise someone to do something and you will. And then this person can always look at your challenges from a different perspective. because they are not emotionally involved. So this is why it's so very important. So I want to go back to this very quickly. Confidence is important. Apart from all the hard skills and planning, strategizing, having goals, your visions, missions, passions, and knowing where you're going, you need to have confidence in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. And remember, when you have confidence, you look at your own CV and your own profile in a different way. You need to believe in what you have to offer. Confidence is important. Networking is important. Networking with confidence is important. And keeping momentum, because plans will go wrong. Things will go longer than you thought, and things will not go according to plan. So do have a plan B or C or D. Consider journaling or coaching to gain clarity. You remember, some of you may remember this slide because it came up earlier during this career series sessions. Coaching, mentoring, any kind of advice or help will give you another perspective and will normalize all the challenges that you have on the way. The challenges that you may think are big or impossible to overcome, someone else can normalize for you, especially if it's a coach or a mentor. A mentor can be someone in your existing company. It can be someone outside of your company, someone you trust, and someone you respect, someone who knows, hopefully, about the direction that you're going. So it may be in your target company, in your target business, or in your target role. That would be the most, I would say, recommendable. So, for example, when I was pivoting to coaching, my first thing was to reach out to have a coach myself. I decided to work with a coach who was specializing in helping people transition, leaders transition from the corporate world to coaching. And I immediately signed up for work with this person, with Karen, because I knew that no matter what I know myself, and despite of the coaching certification and so on, there is so many things that I don't know. Like I didn't know what I didn't know. So that was my plan, was to work with someone who has been there, done it, and is now helping people like me to go the same way. And ever since, I have been working with coaches, depending on what phase I am in my journey. I'm either working like with Karen, is someone who I have been working with since the very beginning, but I also work with other coaches depending on what kind of knowledge I need. And it is really, really useful. Same with mentoring. Mentoring is a little bit more difficult than coaching. It's different, not difficult, not at all difficult. It's different. Mentoring is more about someone who has been in the same role, is advising you what to do in this particular challenge. Coaching is a little bit more about discussing with you what you already perhaps know deep inside, but it's just to help you get all those ideas and find your own way how to do it. I think they are both very, very complementary and both very useful. And again, depending on where you are in your journey, you may need more a mentor or more a coach. Again, accountability partner is always useful to have. Now, very often people say to me, well, it's too late for me. I'm too old. I'm not going to pivot because I wanted to be this or that, but it's already, I'm at my 40s or whatever, and it's too late for any pivot. So if this is you, look at this. So I really love this example. This is this gentleman is made headline news lately in Poland a couple of weeks ago during the leaving certificates. That was his dream. He's 85, to do a leaving certificate, which he couldn't do when he was young because of the war and many other things. So he decided to do his leaving certificate at the age of 85. And when we talk about adversities or difficulties or challenges, this gentleman was learning on his own because apparently no school wanted to admit him as a student. So he was learning online and himself to take part in those exams, to fulfill his long-term dream. So if you think you are too old to pivot or to have a new direction in your life or to pursue your dreams, think again. Oh, how about you? As I said, you're here because you think about career transition one way or another. It's all doable. It is possible. You just need to know where you're going. If you already know you are not in the right place, do know where you're going. Do make a plan how to get there. Network, get to know people, get yourself a support, and go for it. Be patient. Don't give up, and go for it. You can always decide, I'm not going to do it halfway through, but at least try. This slide I'm showing always at the end of the presentation. Career planning is an ongoing process. It is important to remain proactive and intentional about your career growth and development. Career transition is one of those milestones, if you like. We can stay where we are and go with the flow, thinking that we are either too old or it's not the right time or it's risky or it is bad timing because everybody's laying off and so on. But we can also think like, yeah, as they say, the best time to plant a tree was yesterday, the next best time is today. Let's start today at least to think and plan your career transition and what it takes, but do have a plan and do take control of your own destiny. Questions? I've been talking and talking and I don't even know if there is still anyone there. So let me have a look.
Yeah, we're still here.
Viola, at least Viola is still here. I'm saying join my community, book a call. I'm very, very happy to discuss with any of you what needs to be done in your particular case. I will stop share to see who is still here. Any questions, ladies or gentlemen? No questions. Anything?
A question on the chat because I can't, I'm on the go at the moment.
You're writing in the chat, yeah?
Yeah.
Anna Maria? Okay, cool, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So the question is, if in your experience, are people really open to such informational interviews? As for me, it was 50-50. Very good question, Anna Maria, and I did allude to this. Yes, 50-50. In my experience, I did it a good couple of years ago for the first time. And you are right. There will be people who say, I did it via LinkedIn. There will be people who are not that often on LinkedIn that you think, for example. So that means that they will not even notice that you asked them for it, and they will only notice in a month or 2 months' time. Some people will notice and they will forget. And some people will notice and they will not forget. They will say, okay, I will come back to her. I have to schedule, and something will come up. In my experience, there were people who were coming back to me when I long forgot that I asked them, and they were coming back to me. Some people were coming back immediately, and there was about 1/3 who, or maybe a little bit less, who never came back. My advice here is go for as many as you can. So if you reach out to 20 people, if 10 of them, because it's only 50-50, if 10 of them come back to you, that's fine. That's still fine. That's exactly what you want. And then reach out to the next 20. It's always the numbers game. The more you reach out to, the more you will come back to you. I would also say, go on, Anna Maria.
And do you think that offering something in return would be a good strategy? Because I feel like when people are coming to me just with questions, how I can help them, and there is nothing that they offer in reciprocation, then there is maybe a lower likelihood that I answer.
A good one. I don't know. I probably wouldn't. Maybe it's also the way you approach them. It may sound a little bit like maybe, I don't know. I don't want even to use the word. I will go at it from a different angle. Very often people are flattered when you tell them that you want to learn about their role because you believe this is a fantastic role and what they have done really fantastically in their career. And if you approach people like that, I like your profile, I really like what you're doing, it's an impressive career and a fantastic role. Or if it's not so fantastic, it's like a very good role or whatever, something I'm really interested in, would you be open to sharing how you got there or a little bit more details? If you approach it like that, I think most people would be flattered and thinking, wow, she really likes what I'm doing, I must be good. This is what I was doing. It was always genuine because I was never lying. This was always what I wanted to know and learn, but that was the way I was approaching. I never offered anything in return, also because I never thought I had something to offer in return, in a way like, and I can then tell you about my job. I don't know. Having said that, if you think that you have something in common with this person and you can help them as well, then absolutely. I just didn't think about it, and I didn't know if there was anything that I could offer that they would be interested in. After the discussion, once I know them a little bit more, perhaps yes.
Thank you.
Does it answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, informational interviews are really important because they give you, like, shed more light on what the role is about, what the industry is about. When you write to them, tell them why you are interested. It may be because I want to pivot to this industry. I'm interested in this and that, but tell them why you have chosen them. So don't go like a generic message to everybody, because then people may really ignore it because they will sense it's not genuine. But if it's more genuine, then they will come back. And again, as I said, it is a numbers game very often.
Makes sense. Thank you very much.
Sure, Anna Maria. Miha, Abiola, anybody, any questions on transitions?
Actually, yes.
Go for it, Miha.
So it's about the leveraging your transferable skills. Now, in order to make it clear, I would like to conduct a small experiment. I will say a word and tell me what comes to your mind first. And the word is tomato.
Tomato, yeah?
And what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
This is my favorite vegetable.
Okay, but if you look at this, if you think about tomato, the first thing that comes to your mind is a vegetable that is red. And first of all, it is not vegetable, and it doesn't necessarily need to be red. Now, if you look on the LinkedIn profiles, you're basically and you feel that you say that, okay, let's say we are executive search. And you look at the profiles, and what you see is the tagline and the two last positions that the person held. And now you see somebody who is not fitting, simply not fitting. However, this person might have some skills that are valuable for the position you're looking for. Now, exactly in my case, I've been a project manager for 8 years, more than that. And when you think about project manager, you think that this is a person who usually tracks the timeline, proves the budget, and up to some extent takes care of resources. But I've been working with customers all the time. This is something that is highly valuable in business development, but you need to make it clear to the potential recruiter. Now, of course, in the section about or in generally in your LinkedIn profile, you can pretty much write everything. Now, how can you make it clear that you are not the classical project manager, and that to make people think out of the box about you? That's my main question. I mean, let's say what is needed from the project manager. I mean, he needs to be extremely well organized. He needs to have good communication skills. That's it. But he doesn't need to have business acumen. He doesn't need to have good customer relationship management. In my case, this is not true. I have these skills, but I need to make them visible throughout my LinkedIn profile, and that's quite difficult because I'm trapped. I know my values, I know my skills, but I'm still somehow perceived throughout my role within the organization.
Mm-hmm. And it is an excellent question. In fact, my favorite question it is, because I truly believe that, like, for example, I know you, but let's say I don't know you. Like Abiola doesn't know you, or Anna Maria doesn't know you. Do they know you were a project manager? How would they know? Until you tell them, until you write it, no one will know. So it's in your head because you know. And you, like the stories that we are telling ourselves, you think like, oh, she immediately will find out, and she will immediately think it's all about the, tracking and so on. I'm not saying that you should completely remove it from your profile or from your CV, but it's completely doable to replace it with different naming convention and to come up with the ones that you value as the ones that are going in your face immediately.
Okay.
And I will give you an example. In my own career. 25 years I've been the executive position in financial services. I've been a coach all my life, but working as a coach is maybe like in this position now is 5 years. 25 plus 5 is almost like, but I repositioned my LinkedIn profile, and the first thing that comes up is that I'm an executive coach. This is how I want to be seen on LinkedIn. And yes, I'm leveraging my skills from the corporate world. This is exactly my value proposition, because I know finance and I know how to climb the corporate ladder. I know how to navigate the corporate politics, but I no longer stress those ones in my CV. Another example I will give you, for many years, 3 to 5 years, I was in my corporate life, I was managing big projects across the world and data protection. I was even, although I was the project managing it, first in European Union, then in APAC, then in the Americas, 17 projects at one point I was juggling, and big budgets and everything else. I certified in data protection because I wanted to know more about the subject content-wise. Once I did it, I got massive interest on LinkedIn from data protection people. So I was getting, like speaking at conferences or getting this role on that role, all about data protection. I never wanted to be associated with data protection in my life. I really like the subject. I'm glad that I know it, but I don't want to be associated with it going forward. So I removed it from my about section. I removed it from as a prominent thing on my CV. I put it in a different language because I didn't want it to show up that way. Does it mean that I'm like, yeah, I'm still showing it, but not in that way. I flip it around as managing a project across many countries for a big budget and so on. And the subject is not that prominent there anymore. And I think you can do it definitely. Coming back to your example, starting with your customer-centric skills, stakeholder management skills, and pushing this project management thing completely down to the bottom, even by reordering your CV, although you don't have to because your project management skills are like the role is down below.
Okay, so essentially you would suggest renaming the positions within my CV and LinkedIn to something that is, let's say, okay, fair enough.
That's what I would do, because again, you are not. It's not about lying. You will not say that you are a ballet dancer or anything like that. You are still within your skill set and everything that you have done. It's just the naming convention, and until you tell people you are managing projects, they will never know. And you can call it whatever you want. I would say project management skills are really very, very useful. They are transferable skills, because managing people who don't report to you directly, managing big budgets, issues, risks, and so on at the same time, and then globally and different subjects, today this and tomorrow something else, this is a big, big skill. It's not about Excels, because that's what PMO does, but it's the way how you sell it.
Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, there is a skill set behind is valuable and for corporations, for companies, for me myself as well. It's so it's just a naming convention that I should change. I think that's a good hint, and
I think so. Naming convention plus underscoring those skills like customer care that you that for you are most important ones, and putting them, as you said, on the about section or the first couple of lines that show up. Like, even do an experiment. Maybe put your about section to ChatGPT and ask it to rewrite it for you so that this and this shows up most. And you see, you will be surprised what's coming up, and you may have a different perspective on it, because the question is how to go out with from your own head and your own perspective to a completely different one. And it's completely doable, Michał. You have everything to succeed, everything.
Alrighty, thanks a lot. Good.
Sure. Thank you for this question. Anna Maria or Abiola, I know some people had to drop off at the the 30 minutes mark, but do you have any questions, ladies?
No more questions, thank you.
Sure. Abiola? No questions, I guess. Abiola is on mute. Michał, no more questions, right? On mute as well, but I guess you say no.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for now. I'm good.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. It's 3 minutes to the top of the hour. Thank you so much for joining me. I do encourage you to join me again next Wednesday for the next deep dive into career management topics. In the meantime, if you want to talk to me, please Please reach out. I will be happy to answer any career questions.
Will do.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.